Hello, I'm Super Orange Cat here. I'm today covering Toonami's ratings from this past Saturday, October 8th, 2022. At the top of the block, we have Housing Complex C at a .05, Yashahime at a .04, One Piece at a .05, another episode at .05, Lupin at a .05, and Naruto at a .04. Now, these are, I think I have to look to be certain, the absolute worst ratings in the history of Toonami, and it really could not have come at any worse time for the network, for the block rather. Because again, you've probably heard about all the moves Warner Brothers Discovery is doing. I think yesterday, the day before, there was an announcement that there was another set of layoffs happening at Cartoon Network Studios. So that's getting contracted down. And what usually happens at Cartoon Network usually happens to Adult Swim, which usually happens to Toonami. And again, we've had no new show announcements since Yashahime. And right now, the current schedules we have for the next few weeks are really piecemeal, one off schedules. Like, we're going to double up Naruto in a couple Saturdays for 1 week, and the week after that, we have 2 Halloween marathons. And at that point, one thing to expect is if there is an excuse to do a marathon, they're probably going to have one. So, Christmas marathon, New Year's marathon, Thanksgiving marathon, Ramadan marathon, uh, Kwanzaa marathon, Hanukkah marathon. Why the hell not at this point, you know? It's like, yeah, I mean, they're going to find whatever they can to stretch out shows. Again, Housing Complex C has gone in 2 weeks, and if it doesn't improve in the ratings, if it looks like it's a bona fide loss, do not be the least bit surprised if that ends up in the tax write-off pile for Warner Brothers Discovery. Which, damn shame, really. It's an alright show. Last episode really wasn't that impressive relative to the first one, but I mean, it lost more than half the ratings week to week. That's not common at all in TV. I can't think of any examples outside of like specifically extreme examples of shows that had extremely poor received first episodes on like network TV decades ago, where you'd have more than half of the viewership just fall from week to week. And again, I'm trying to think of any other reasons why this would happen. Historically, when UFC has a big fight, the ratings typically go down a bit. I can't recall any really notable UFC matches, but I don't follow UFC that closely, so I wouldn't know for sure. And I can't think of any events that happened that night outside of the fact that there was a wild card game. But I don't think wild card baseball would have too much an impact on Toonami's ratings, especially to the fact that more than half of the people didn't tune in. Honestly, more I think about it, there might be people silently or possibly unwittingly kind of more or less protesting Warner Brothers Discovery and all of its moves by just simply not watching the networks. You know, not watching TNT, not watching TBS. I don't have the ratings numbers for those networks, but I have to imagine they're lower, and it'll be for the same reason why Cartoon Network's ratings are going to be lower, why Adult Swim's ratings are going to be lower. People are just not going to tune in. And at the same time, I mean, there's not much to turn into. Like Adult Swim right now, all they have is like Rick and Morty, and thank God they have Smiling Friends, and thank God Smiling Friends we know for certain is having another season because, geez, being just the Rick and Morty network has started to kind of take its toll on Adult Swim, especially it's that now that they don't have Family Guy anymore. They're not going to have Bob's Burgers. Sometimes next year they're going to lose the rights to Bob's Burgers, so all they're going to literally have is like Futurama, King of the Hill, shows that, I mean, Toonami, not Toonami, shows that are just kind of syndication hell shows at this point, and American Dad, which they can air as much as they want because it's no longer a Fox original, it's now a TBS original, with new episodes airing on TBS Mondays at 10 right now. So, I mean, that's just a general thing. And like I said, and the reason why I kind of strayed away from just mentioning Toonami here is the fact that this is really no longer just a whole on Toonami Adult Swim thing. This is a giant thing happening to Warner Brothers Discovery. And one of the symptoms of that is that Toonami is going to have very low ratings. And the viewership of some of these shows, especially towards the end of the block, were lower than the attendance at several college football games that happened that same day as well. So just a sign of people tuning out right now. Will people be back next week? I don't know. And that might be a higher sell because of Housing Complex C being the show it is, the miniseries it is completely dependent on continuity. So I wouldn't be surprised we see the same numbers next week. Logic dictates the ratings go up at least a little bit. And do you know what? It probably does. Are we going to go back to 0.12 like we had the last week? No. I honestly doubt we go that high. And the question is, what does Toonami go from here? Because in a couple weeks, Housing Complex C is done. Not One Piece. Lupin the Third's almost done. We're almost done with the rerun of Made in Abyss. The question is, at that point, what do you do? And like I said, my suggestion would be try to find old anime. I don't mean like, oh, aired in 2016, aired in 2017. I mean, if possible, go back to the 80s. Go back to the 90s. Show stuff that people aren't seeing on TV right now. Stuff that people haven't gone out of their way to stream. Like I said, something like Dirty Pair. Something like, okay, I think a lot of people are streaming Yu Yu Hakusho. But, in that vein, hell, if possible, the original Dragon Ball. Why not? I mean, I've heard something like Jason DeMarco talk about, oh, we want HD transfers. At some point, though, it's just like, have fun with it. Make it a thing. Go extraordinary. Be weird. And I can't imagine getting the rights to air, even the dub, the admittedly terrible dub of Dirty Pair, but hey, that's what the 90s were, just a bunch of terrible dubs. Fine, there's no way that's that expensive to put on TV. And if possible, you could probably get a good deal on something like Project Eden as well. So what do you guys think? Leave your opinions, leave your comments down below. I'm the Super Orange Cat, and that is all.